the ability behind the videographer, the cinematographer to capture the content, you're able to pull this off and create something you're going to be proud of with a phone.
The frame is the frame. And
Right.
if you see it, you just see it. And that's what's worth filming.
You are really just walking into a space and letting the story unfold in front of you completely.
It's something very intimate and very organic in a sense that it's totally instinctive. And sometimes miracles happen, little mundane miracles happen in the frame.
So this is a unique Beyond the Frame. We met very organically. And Stanley, introduce yourself. I'll tell the story in a second, but introduce yourself. Who are you? Where you're from? And we'll get started.
Well, two responses to that. My name is Stanley Woodward. I have double roots here in Philly and in France. So I live more in Europe right now, but I'm in Philly right now, and I make films, and I'm here to make a film day by day, a documentary film, like a kind of an essay film, part of a collection, an American collection coming from France. And my ancestors come from here. And so that's why I chose, it was obvious for me to make Philly my destination. I had
For this film, right?
this film. And
So it's really interesting. I'm going to share the story of how we met. So you were coming here to film this film, and there's an interesting way that you're filming it, which we'll talk about, which you're just using your phone. You're using an iPhone 17 Pro Max and a built-in microphone, a mini shotgun microphone.
exactly.
And so the reason your team reached out to us is because when you travel for a shoot, for those who don't know, footage is the most important thing. It's the most valuable thing from that visit, and you need to back it up. And so we have multiple solid state drives that you've backed up your footage on, but they wanted a local studio where you could just back up the footage to know it's safe. So we're using our server, we're backing that up, which automatically synchronizes to our box.com account and having everything backed up in the cloud. You reached out to us, said, hey, can you guys help us out? We said, sure. Very easy, kind of transactional thing, right? Most of our work is going to be the creative, right? We do the scripting, storyboarding, shooting, editing, but that, we also help with a lot of production companies that are coming into town. So we do that. You come in to do another footage dump and drop off the next drive, and we start talking. And this amazing project that you're doing, which is really cool, unique, and creative, is the one thing. You're shooting on the entire thing on an iPhone, which is something I definitely want to talk about today, and kind of share some thoughts around. And you have this connection to Philly. Amazing. So let's start with the project. So explain to people what this creative project is in a few sentences, just so they understand what you're here to do.
So a few sentences I will try, because that's not my best. A few sentences.
I didn't mean to put too many guardrails on.
No, but that's fine. I understand. I would like to do it in a few sentences. So help me out if you see that I'm losing myself. It's difficult because, first of all, it's not my phone. It's my camera. So I'm not using it as a phone. I purchased it especially like you would go and get a camera. I got my camera through an iPhone.
So are you connected to a network right now? Like, are you with AT&T, Verizon, or something like that?
Not on the iPhone. Not on
that camera.
not on that camera.
Oh, not on that camera.
On my phone, yes.
So it's a true dumb phone, right? It's just you being used as a camera.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's all.
Okay.
And I need the internet to upload apps for the filming part and also the sound part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through apps, so that's for the technical part.
Yep.
So what triggered this? A producer coming to my production company. I have a small production company in Paris. And he said, we're doing an American collection, which is 7 films on 7 cities of the States by pretty independently well-known filmmakers in France. So something a little bit prestigious, but not too much.
Nice.
Like an indie view on America through its 7 cities that are linked to the Albertine House Institute, which is an institution that hosts residencies, artist residencies, I think, in the States.
Okay.
But it's a French, let's say, in terms of diplomacy, it's a French territory, so to speak. And it represents France in America, in the States, and proposes things with wherever it is. So it's located in different places in the country. Am I too long?
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah. Okay. So 7 cities, different filmmakers were deployed to these 7 cities. You were selected.
No. I wasn't selected. I was selected to co-produce.
To co-produce. Okay.
To put money in.
Okay.
And support it. And support it actively. And that's how it came to us. So it was not for me to make a film at all. It was just, the 7 slots were taken, period. That was it. But my producer partner said, wouldn't you want to make one of them? I said, yeah, but there's no more space.
Right.
And she said, yeah, but wouldn't you want to make one of them? And I said, of course. You're right. I would definitely love,
Okay, you convinced me. It's
like it was very easy. I hadn't thought of it. And she made me think of it. And of course, the only city that I want to be filming is Philadelphia. There's no other question. I mean, there's not even an ounce of a doubt. So anyway, and that's me and not me. It's what I discover as being obvious as I'm responding.
Right.
So I didn't know that. That was cool. Okay, I was down with doing a film on Philadelphia, but what film? I have no idea. I've been working for the past 2 years on my last fiction feature, nothing to do with documentary.
Okay.
I have made documentaries in the past, not that many, but peculiar.
Enough that you know how to, yeah.
Yeah, and especially lonely. I mean, solitary. Because that's the beauty of this filming, is that it's solitary.
Yeah.
There's no crew. There's nobody who's asking you when, what, how. It's just you. And that I love, because it's my way of interacting with wherever I am. And that's something I really appreciate. And I need to do every once in a while to counterbalance the sort of controlled danger that comes with filmmaking and being a director. And
Let me ask you this: what's the why behind this series? Right? Is it more experiential for the artist to be able to go out and create this content? Is there a target audience that's sort of in mind of who's going to see this? And
because the woman who's the boss of the Albertine, whatever it is called, the house or institute, she's also the head of a big French. It's actually pretty Parisian, unfortunately. Called Cinéma du Réel Film Festival, which is a big film festival for documentary making that people come to see the latest production in documentary. It's a selection. It's a festival.
Okay.
So that's where
So this will be featured, and are they going to be ranked, or is there?
I have no
competition?
idea.
No idea.
No,
Okay.
I have no idea when. Soon, supposedly it was for this year, but obviously it's not going to be happening.
Right.
It's just coming in March.
Right, because you're filming now, so you're going to need all that time to edit and post-produce.
Yeah, and the collection sort of imploded in the making because some filmmakers couldn't make it. 2 of them. That's how I got my space.
Got it.
The lady was shown some films of mine, and she was okay with it.
Yeah.
She didn't know me, and that's okay because all the other ones are known. I'm an unknown filmmaker.
Okay.
Even though I've been at it
so far
for 30 years. But so
until now,
and thanks to you, really, thank you, and through the spoken word, which is pretty nice.
So I love it, and I think that in this conversation, when we talked before and decided to do this recording, I was really sort of taken aback and appreciated, your appreciation for the artistry of it and the fact that you're doing this project the way that you're doing it. And I think what jumped out at me, and we're dumping all this footage, and it's literally thousands of gigs. It's about 6 terabytes, right, so far of data that we've been backing up for you, and for our audience, it's 6,000 gigabytes. Why does that matter? Well, because I don't think you usually associate a big project and batching content like that with filming it on an iPhone, right? And so that was the question I asked her, what are you shooting on? And you went, and I said, are you shooting on a Red? And and I actually think I asked you that because I saw in the LUT folder, you had some dot cubes and whatever, and I was like, oh, he must be on a Red. So you're shooting on an iPhone, and I think that what I wanted to interview you about is so much we talk about corporate video and content. Our audience, right, are marketing directors, executives at companies, people that are going to hire us to do video. That's who I'm making this content for. But so often we talk about, the tools that we're using, right? And a lot of times our clients actually don't care. They've seen the work that we do, and they just assume, you're going to bring the right camera to do it. And I think, God forbid, if I walked on set with just my iPhone and by myself and said, I'm about to do this big brand film, I think there would be a heart attack on set. But what's fascinating is you're producing this film, the content, I've only looked at a couple clips here and there, but the content that you're shooting, it looks amazing. And what I want to talk to you today about is sort of the ability behind the videographer, the cinematographer to capture the content, and why you're able to pull this off and create something you're going to be proud of with a phone. Right?
Well, first of all, I know nothing about what's going to be.
Okay.
The film, I don't know what it's going to be. So I would love to be proud of it, but it's much too early to. I'm definitely proud of the experience.
Okay.
So that's something nobody will ever be able to take it away from me. This experience.
So let me hit that for a second and maybe translate that from like artist to corporate speak for the folks listening.
Yeah, interesting that it should be addressed to corporations.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't come on the set without telling them that you're going to come this way, because what could this way of doing bring to their brand would be something that is completely different to what
there's no control, right?
There's no control, and there's a vulnerability and a humanity about it that is not necessarily conducive with the image that I have,
right,
of the image the corporate brands want to brand.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So who knows? Maybe a brand will be I don't know, whatever you can call it, qualify it or characterize it, to commission a film like that. But it's not. I don't know.
Well, I think for a brand, not to go into the strategy element too deep, because that's not, as much of this conversation about. I think if you were to,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
But it is the whole thing, the strategy thing about it, because there's absolutely no strategy. That's the strategy, and that's the difficulty and the beauty and the total unknownness of it. So I don't know if it's compatible with the need for visibility, control, which is completely understandable.
In a commercial space.
In a commercial space, because the commercial, they know what they want to see or to send out, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and they've put hours of work
into prep and all of those things.
Exactly.
Well, let me explain that for a second, and you tell me if I've got this right, because I know you gave a taste of this at the beginning of the conversation. You're here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Your whole vision for how you're producing this project on a phone is to be completely unencumbered by the cameras, the equipment, all the different pieces. You know how to use the tool, right? That you're working within.
I was briefed by a DP.
You're briefed by a DP of what sort of to get, but you are really just walking into a space and letting the story unfold in front of you completely. So you don't know, maybe I assume you know where you're going on one of the days or whatever, but really just trying to experience the city with almost no plan and then be ready to capture it. No plan. So walk me through. You walk out the door. When you walk out of your hotel room.
No. First of all,
you know if you're going to go left or right?
I don't know.
Okay, tell me more.
First of all, I rented an apartment. For me, it was important to be in a soulful place, not in a hotel for 3 weeks.
Yep.
And so I found a beautiful spot in Old City, really beautiful. It was perfect because since the film has something to do with history and time, going through time, like there are different
place to be. Sure.
Different epochs, and that are almost stratified today. So that's why I wanted to be there. So I could put my body in this old city, because the film, the working title is called Roots. So it made total sense to live in the roots of Philly.
Yep.
Being the roots capital also. That was sort of some kind of faraway objective. Filming time going by, being yet eternal because it's always in the present.
Yep.
So it feels a bit high-perched what I'm saying right now as I'm listening to myself speak. But it's really what I'm trying to do. So being an old city is important.
Rooted you to the right spot.
Rooted
right?
me to the right spot. And I didn't know, really. I didn't know. And it was not easy to not know, because I'm a filmmaker and I'm always asked for fiction making,
Sure.
for everything. What are you going to do? What it's about? What is it about? Why this shot? Why? How do you dress them? So, etc. So this is very, at the same time, like a calling for me, because I've done it a few times in my life this way, but not to such an extent on 3 weeks. And so it was a challenge every day for the first week. Every day it was like, sometimes it was, oh shit, I want to do this to fill in the void. Because the key is to let yourself be taken by whatever. So you have to make
What do you do if you're not taken in by anything? Do you just start shooting?
no,
Okay.
precisely, exactly. That's an exact reflex. I would want to start shooting because at least something,
Yeah.
but I was seeing that I was wanting to shoot to fill in my not knowing anything and not feeling very comfortable about it, like an uneasiness, and just to have to live with the uneasiness. And eventually, every day, something would lead me to another, and I would see something, hear something. I was, and it just carried me through every day.
Was there a moment that was like your epiphany?
There's been 7 days of epiphany.
Okay. That's a lot of epiphanies.
No, it's the first time ever for me.
So it took about 2 weeks before you hit your stride, would you say?
No. Hit my stride. No, because if I hadn't had this first week of going through, I wouldn't have hit my stride, like you say.
That's an amazing,
And I shot every day because but it's very interesting to see the difference of nature of the shots as the film has progressed. I don't film the same way now that I did 2.5 weeks ago. It's incredible how different it is.
do you think this will inform your style and approach to filming projects in the future? Or was that specific to this experience?
In fiction film, I've been wanting to shoot that way. So I've left spaces for this during the fiction films shoots, and but not enough. Always having to plan.
Right.
It's normal. I mean, it's the way you make them, supposedly, or that's one way at least. That is really
Yeah.
major. So of course, it's changing everything. It's changing everything because I could see in my fiction filming, when I say, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And my first assistant sometimes said, I don't understand anything. What are you doing? And I say, me neither, but I have to do it.
So we got to get moving. We got to do something.
I have to know. It's just like, for instance, I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah.
There's a conversation between a mother and a son, and we have a day to shoot it. And I don't want to shoot a conversation between a mother and a son. I want to film the essence of the talk. And it's happening in nature. I mean, in nature, in very, very special nature, lost in the mountains, whatever. And so how do I do that? Well, I don't know. And so what I do is I film actually 4 times the dialogue in different places as we're walking, as if we were taking the walk. And every time it makes sense because there's something to film. I film the conversation, so they do it 4 times in 4 different places.
And is this a scripted narrative conversation?
Yeah.
It's to a script. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're okay.
To a script, but they have space to do whatever they want.
A little improvisation.
Well, if it comes, but it's written. So eventually at the end, the 4th time, I filmed 2 close-ups next to each other with the sky behind. It has nothing to do with the whole conversation in terms of location. We don't know where we are. It's almost abstract. A face and sky. And this was necessary, and I didn't know why. And she said, I don't understand.
Why are you shooting this?
Yeah. Why? And myself, I didn't understand. And it was uneasy because I couldn't explain
it.
And this conversation in the film, in the feature, is just, It's unbelievable.
Where do we see that if somebody wants?
I have a link.
Okay, amazing.
I can send you the link.
Amazing.
We have subtitles. The film is not out, so I have to check if it's okay to
review.
share it with you.
But maybe we can embed the link in the comments later, or put
Well, let's talk about that because there's a commercial aspect to the film that I don't know. I'm totally open with this, but I'm very.
I love it. For our audience, it's like a super secret potential film that we might be able to see.
It's not a potential film. It's
happening.
It's a 90-minute feature, and it's really. It's done.
Awesome.
And it's to be distributed, but it's not yet.
Okay, got it. Is the majority of your work feature film and narrative and documentary? Do you do corporate work as well?
No, I wanted to when I was a kid. I really wanted to, and I went to see a producer who did only corporate things because I thought for the craft it would be really helpful and interesting to get a commission and film things I didn't want to film particularly, but try to find the way to film them. So I went to see this producer, and I showed him my 2 shorts, fiction, and he said, "Keep doing what you're doing. I don't have anything for you."
Huh.
And I said, I would like to.
Yeah.
And he said, no.
Did he think that the skills wouldn't translate from what you
I don't know what he thought. I didn't ask him. He was just very adamant about it.
It's funny how one conversation like that can send you in a whole direction of your whole life.
One conversation.
It's amazing.
I interpret it as an encouraging thing.
Right.
Because it was like, okay, you're going to have to deal with you pretending to be an artist.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so you want to do it? Do it. There's no space for you here. That's how I read it. There are other ways to read it. But it was an encouragement for me.
It's funny you say that because when I interview, especially younger folks that are getting into the film industry.
I'm sorry, I don't like the artist qualification. I don't use it usually.
Oh, I get it. Because
it's just to...
Yeah, no. Well, I think that if you are in the space that you're in, whether you like the definition or not, you're in the art space, right? Versus like, I always joke that we're mercenaries, right? We're being hired for a specific job to do a specific thing, to achieve a specific goal. Whereas in fiction and whatever your goal is to create something that's, may transcend what you even imagined it could be, become something else for the audience that you've created it for, entertain, engage, et cetera, and do it in a way that's just organically, authentically pulls that audience. One of the things I always say to folks when they're young in the space, if I have people that are interviewing for a job, et cetera, and I always ask them, what do you want to be, right? Do you, and I said this to you before we were on film, do you want to be, the next, whatever, pick your favorite director, Steven Spielberg or whatever, or do you want to work in corporate and do brand content? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they go, well, I don't know, or I want to, make movies someday. Mm-hmm. And I have said to people, I don't do it quite as discouraging, it sounds like, as the guy that you talked to, but I always try to say that, look, it's a very different space of what you're going to learn and how we do it, right? So where you are on a film set, and if it's a proper film, we're in Rittenhouse Square in Philly here, so there's a lot of movies that get filmed around here. The Sixth Sense was filmed.
I know, and 12 years,
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys.
It was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
that with Brad Pitt. It's great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of movies that are filmed.
Eraserhead
was also, yep.
He was in Philly. He was studying, going to college. David Lynch, he went to Philadelphia.
That's a good pickup. So when we're in, when I'm talking to folks that are trying to figure that out, I always say, like, look, if you're on set, like, you're probably going to be a PA originally, you're going to be running coffees, those types of things, but you're going to be in a very different experience than a 3-person team shooting a documentary film in and out in a day, B-roll, and then we got to cut it within a week and get that out. And so you will learn those skills, but I think that there's a part of it that I've always said that the relationships that you'll start to build in the narrative space don't always translate to the relationships you build in the corporate space. And if you want to be there, a lot of folks I find go here and get stuck.
We're
right?
at 1250.
And whereas a lot of people go there, also get stuck because it's a very hard space to break through in, but they find their way more. Okay. Really quick. So I think we've established, this really interesting project that you're doing. You're traveled from France, you're in Philly. We haven't even gotten to this very fun family tie to Philly that I'd like to end on. That's our teaser, everybody. So you stick around because, if you know about Chestnut Hill, you're gonna love that part. But I want to really quickly, on the technical side, touch base on one thing. You're shooting on a phone.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people have a vision in their head. There's 2 parts to this on the corporate side for me. There's the one side where I mentioned earlier the joke. If I walked in with a cell phone to film a video for a client that was hiring us for a corporate project, I think most of them would lose their minds. They would just go like, oh my God, I made a terrible mistake. The other piece of it is a lot of times where we're filling in content, right? Or clients are doing it on their own, they're underestimating the power of this device, right? And the way the phones are right now. Can you give us a breakdown of the way you're using it right now? I know you're using a Filmic Pro.
Yeah.
You've got a shotgun mic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skill and understanding of cinema to be able to properly utilize the device and Filmic Pro and all those things. So give me the rundown, like the shopping list of like what you're using and how you're using it.
Well, you just said it.
That's it.
I don't have anything to add.
And so are you shooting vertical? Or are you shooting horizontal?
Oh, horizontal,
Okay.
never vertical.
Okay.
It's crazy.
For what you're doing. Yep.
No. I never shoot vertical. It's not possible. Even though, I mean, I found out that Paul Thomas Anderson, in One Battle After the Other, was inspired this amazing shot when DiCaprio falls in between those two buildings. I don't know if you.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
They're running on roofs at night, and he misses a jump, and he falls down and gets saved by a pine tree, a little pine tree in the middle of the two buildings, and just falls and falls down, and is really. I mean, he's not dead, but it's a pretty damn fall.
Okay, sure.
And he found that on TikTok vertically. He said that he
saw
somebody do that. I don't know.
He emulated
Yamakasi, maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
I have no idea. I'm talking total shit. But he saw it, and it was vertical. So vertical shots are okay. It's not the point, but I don't know how to do that. I don't want to do that. It's horizontal.
Well, so it's funny because in our space, we're having to embrace that, right? So that was the thing.
The vertical.
For sure. I mean, we've been saying, there's a lot of clients that. So, for example, this podcast that you're seeing, that you're on right now, I don't want to.
It's vertical.
So this is all horizontal, but it will be cut for vertical also. Okay. So everything has to be framed and adjusted and cut so we can do both. So that's something in the corporate world we have to constantly think about.
And that's impossible for me.
Right, because everything you're going to do is going to end up on a giant screen someday.
Yeah, and also because the frame is the frame. And if you see it, you just see it. And that's what's worth filming.
And every aspect of it, that's exactly,
it's a composition.
So in our world, there's that, we have to be flexible, right? Where I've gotten shots that, I've had my DP frame the shot that's amazing.
Of course.
But it's going to be used in this other format. And guess what? You can't fall in love with the work. You do what's best for the client. So, okay, let me go through the technical stuff really quick because I think that what's really cool, a lot of people don't know about this app. I've been using it for years for certain things. There's Filmic Pro, right, which unlocks the ability on a phone to record in RAW, which unlocks the ability for you to dial in your color balance, put a LUT on the footage. You're able to do, and maybe for clients that might be seeing this right now, they're going like, what the heck is he talking? What are all these, code words he's using, right? You've got a histogram in there. Yeah. You have all these tools that allows you to unlock power of the phone. And I think that what I always want to say is that these things exist, right? And in the right environment, the right space, they work. Yeah. But you have to have a skilled technician that's using it. Yeah. You also have to think about one other thing, which for you, for the artistic constraints that you're trying to use, let me get this in. And go ahead. For the artistic constraints you're using makes sense, right? But when we're on set, and let's say we're going to a client's location and we're filming, what really supports us in the work with that cinema camera, what we're able to do are unlock certain features that the phone won't have, swapping lenses, using ND filters if we're in too bright of a space, to create different effects and things that might be too limiting on the phone.
You can do it. You have ND filters that you can fix.
That you could put on, but it's not
the same.
It's not the same, and
it's completely idiotic because the phone is supposed to be invisible, and if you start putting a lens on it, then it becomes right. You can equip the phone, but then it becomes a camera seen by others as such, and that's not the idea.
Right. And in your universe where you were trying to create this really organic, authentic content where the video, the camera, the approach to recording it could distract from the story.
Totally.
In our universe, if I walked in with this as my device,
it would distract
from the universe, from our work for sure. But it also, all those other things, the dynamic range of the camera, et cetera,
for sure,
gives us that flexibility to adapt on set in a way that a phone doesn't.
Yeah. Right, because you have a set and you have time on the set and you have time to set up things.
Right.
With this, you cannot set up anything because it's life going by. So you have to catch it just
As
like
it's
that
happening.
as it's happening. So it needs to be light. Fred Wiseman, who just died, the filmmaker, documentary filmmaker. I don't know if you know his work.
I've heard.
Well, check it out because it's really the same idea in a way, but I don't know how he did it because he did it in 16 millimeter with a DP and a sound engineer, and him. There were three, and they would go like this, and they did amazing films with the same idea of getting a grasp of life as it's going by. I don't know how to do that. I do that with the iPhone, and it's light for me, and it engages my body in a way that is, for some reason, necessary for me. The cold, the walk, the night, the steadiness, the stillness, the invisibility, all this is something very intimate and very organic in a sense that it's totally instinctive. And sometimes miracles happen, little mundane miracles happen in the frame. And that's
what you're trying to capture.
Well, or something else or whatever. But
what I think we're coming to a close here. I wanted to I'll do a quick summary, but I want to ask you one last question. Outside of the iPhone, what is sort of your favorite camera to work with, or do you have a favorite?
I don't. No. My favorite camera it's not a camera. It's matter. It's the film, the negative. But I'm discovering, insisting on digital, how digital matter can happen. And in this film, it's going to be more present than ever, because I don't have to be ashamed of having a poor picture.
Right.
I'm looking for matter like with the 35 or 16 millimeter or Super 8 millimeter, because Super 8 and 16 is the same.
Yeah.
You can really film highlights and lowlights in a very different way. The skin is the real skin. It's not collagen dead sharpness that is unreal. So there's something about the light with actual film, 35 or 16 millimeter film, that is ungraspable in digital. So that's the matter that I prefer. However, having worked and being at work with digital, since I'm always looking for the light and the matter, there is something like that in the digital that I'm finding.
I love it. I really appreciate you coming on today, because I think that most of the content we create and most of the people we talk to are going to be like, we had a PR person in today. We talked to folks on the marketing side. We talked, on tips of how to do AV and so it's all in that corporate realm. And I think it's really, hopefully going to be very interesting for people to talk to someone that really is in the space of just creating the content for the sake of creating the content, as opposed to the content having some ethereal other mission and goal. So Stanley, I really appreciate you coming on. Where do people find you?
If I may add something,
Hit it.
we're not creating content here. That's the difference, maybe. If you see life as content, then life is dead. So, for me at least.
Yeah.
So I cannot be creating any content filming human beings, plants, birds, animals. They're alive. So if they become content, then I kill them symbolically. And
So what are they then?
just who they are, living beings, and it's life. So I'm trying to film life, which is not the same thing as creating content. Creating content is necessary today because we have big mamas who are very hungry.
Yeah.
And
It's funny, I call it the content monster. They're hungry. You got to feed them. That's right.
So it's doomed to just fall into a major indigestion eventually. I don't know when, how, whatever. I don't care. But it'll happen. It really will. Because eventually you implode. It's like in Monty Python's Meaning of Life, a little after 8, and fuck off, I'm stuffed. And the guy implodes,
Yeah.
The big mamas are going to implode eventually. So that's one thing. But here it's another thing. It's not better or worse or whatever. It's just different. is just trying, like many other filmmakers and many filmmakers to come, try to capture a little bit of this sparkle of life.
I absolutely love that perspective.
Thank you so much for
sitting in and
for recognizing the gesture, because
well, thank you for taking the time to be open to learning the conversation.